Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Sunday night for us, Monday morning for you guys. It's raining outside here in Stockton, California. Didn't want to wake up the fish, so I apologize for their light not being on. But they've had a rough day today because I forgot to feed them before going to church.
They're fasting?
They're fasting unto the Lord.
Fasting fishes.
Nothing wrong with it, guys. There is no animal abuse going on. Actually, it's preferred that sometimes you skip a day when you have an aquarium. Um, it's actually healthy for them.
So every Sunday you should make them fast.
Yeah. So
You don't do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 anymore?
it already does it on the video.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So had a great service today, and I thought it was a beautiful presence during the worship and the altar call. And it was just really nice, to just see everybody. It's always nice to see everybody, guys. Always nice. And even those of you that are watching online, I don't know who's on there yet, but once it'll post about midnight tonight. Then I get to go back and read the comments. And I do read the comments, actually. I really enjoy them. I always check, and I was like, oh, the live chat's on. Because for some reason, guys, every time we go live, it doesn't post it right away. It takes like 12 hours, and then it'll post. Kind of weird. But
That is weird.
it never did that before.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't until when COVID happened, and then they started I don't know. It would take long for any live to upload. Not sure why that happens. I know it doesn't happen to everybody though.
Yeah.
For some reason. I know a lot of the people that they go live and then I see it on their channel like in an hour later.
I really, really want to just thank your daughter, Leanna, for stepping up, being ready in and out of season.
Yeah, she did the altar call. It was her first time.
Yeah, doing it by herself. I praise God for her. Guys, I think for the last few months, it's just really odd. You know how when you get those Charlie horses, you get cramps, from behind your leg. You can be sleeping and you get these Charlie horses or cramps or anything. And it's weird because when we started going to Tahoe, I don't know if I started using my glands a lot, my vocal cords, or what had happened, because I was practicing a lot. I was singing Sundays and Wednesdays, and then I was singing double time on Sundays, and just, I guess, maybe a lot of the practicing and just overdoing it probably throughout that time.
Yeah.
I would start getting spasms, guys, a lot of cramps on my glands and my throat, and it would lock up, and I would not be able to sing. Like my vocal, it would just really tighten up and it would hurt so badly. So imagine getting that Charlie horse on your neck, and it just started to happen continuously, and it's painful, guys.
Charlie Horse is a weird name.
I know it is.
I actually
wonder where that came from.
I said I'm gonna look it up on Google after this video right now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but that's what it's already happened maybe like 3-4 times up there, where it's like it get stuck, and I've had to say, like, I really just it's painful, guys. So just looking at Leanna and turning back and be like, hey, I need you to go up there and do altar call on your own. And she just like, I'll do it. I praise God for that. And there's been times where I've just had to step down and just give the microphone to Rihanna or somebody, and they just step up. Yeah, but guys, we're just, the worship team is preparing themselves for a lot. There's a lot of scheduling. We just had a meeting actually last week, and there's going to be a whole new schedule put together. We're getting together to do new things come January. So I'm excited about what the worship team's going to be doing, but I really, really do pray for a worship band, you know. I really do.
Yeah, when we expanded the stage, we had in storage the drum set and the keyboard, and we expanded the stage on purpose because we've been praying for musicians, and how are we going to pray for musicians? Don't have no room for them.
Yeah.
So a few months ago, that's why you were like, "Hey, Tomas, can you help us do this?" And Abraham helped a lot too, both of them, and expanded that stage. So that's why you see the keyboard there and the drum set. That way, we're putting that out there, expecting,
Amen.
and so we're just waiting on that. We're hoping great things for 2023 that's coming really soon, and that's one of the things,
Yeah. Yeah.
that'll be awesome because we have some great singers, great worship singers, and but obviously we need musicians. I thank God at the fact that we have the tracks we use now. We actually, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but the church pays for those tracks, and those are original tracks from the original bands, and we're able to have complete control over all the instruments.
Yeah, we have a really good system called multi-tracks, and we use playback with it, which is really amazing.
Yeah, a lot of churches
Yeah.
use that. Even big churches, like we realize the Grace Church in Houston,
Yeah,
they use it for the click track and all that. So it's a pretty nice thing, especially for small churches that don't have musicians. That way you get to still have that nice, beautiful, full sound.
Yeah.
But other than that, I got a scare today.
Yes, we did.
So I did get a text. I didn't tell you, but I did get a text during worship. And I did get a phone call. My phone started ringing. The only reason I knew because I turned my ringer off for service. Obviously, it's my busiest day. But I had my smartwatch and it started vibrating, And what happened? It got pulled?
I guess.
Oh. And it was Cholo Trucker's phone. And I was like, I thought that's weird. Out of anybody, he knows I'm having service.
Yeah.
Like it was like at 10:10.
Yeah.
So
And I got a phone call from the Valley too.
So I didn't answer it, but I text back, and it was his wife. But there's nothing I could do. All I said was, "I'm in the middle of service," and that was it. And then I did get kind of worried, but obviously I had to preach. I had to preach, but I was a little concerned. And then you got a text?
I got a phone call, but I was literally about to go up. I seen a number and I was about to go up, but then the moment I came down, she messaged me, and when she messaged me,
his wife.
Yes, I knew immediately. Is everything okay? And then I said, "Are you guys okay?"
Yeah.
I those were the first few words that I said, and that's when she said, what she told me.
Well, he already talked about it on his channel.
Well, I know you can. She just said that he was hit by a car.
Cycling.
While he was cycling, he was hit by a car, and it was a hit and run. And I made a beeline to the office immediately. I actually kind of ran to the office and I called her immediately. You had just literally, you were up there not even 10 minutes in, and I made a beeline to the office, and I just needed to make sure if he was okay.
So let me say the end result before I talk about before results, so you're not freaking out. He's okay.
Yeah.
He's fine, nothing broken.
Yeah, just banged up.
But let's back up. So I get the call, I can't answer, I go and preach. I see movement, I see you go to the office, I see you come back, you're talking, whispering to this person, that person. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I get my son. Yeah, I get my son.
She's talking to all kinds of people. And then so I started ignoring it because there's just a lot of movement.
Not all kinds of people. I just talked to 2 people.
Well, that's a lot.
My son.
That's a lot when you're preaching. So it starts throwing me off, guys. So I ignore it and I just look a different direction. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't even relate the two. But then after at the altar call, if you notice at the end, Sharon comes up and whispers something to me. And then you see me sit down. because she said Cholo Trucker got hit on his bike and it's a hit and run. Didn't say he's alive,
No,
he's
you
dead.
said, is he okay?
And you didn't know.
And I said, no. I said, yes, he's okay.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yes.
There's music playing full blast, guys. And I didn't know if he was dead or not. I'm just like, first I thought I lost him to a shark when he swam from Alcatraz. And then she tells me this, and I'm just like, man, I'm the one that told him to cycle. You know what I mean? That's the first thing I thought.
You just asked me, is he okay? And I said, he's okay.
Well,
he's banged up.
Well, maybe I was in shock. So I was freaking out, man, because that's my homie.
I just couldn't say it any louder because you had the microphone right there. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to be too loud.
So I kind of freaked out, guys. You see me sit down on the chair there, and then I think you guys are singing because I didn't know what was happening. Actually, I think I did hear you say it, but I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means his brain is swelling. I'm already thinking the worst. I'm just like, his brain swelling. He's on his last, I
said he's okay.
breath
he's at home.
or something, and this and that. And
his mind just went, I just said he's okay, and I said he's at home.
So either way, guys, if you go to his channel, he was basically riding a bike through a monsoon.
Oh my God.
He put a video up. He had a GoPro on.
What's up, familia? As you guys can see, it's raining, Holmes. It's raining cats and dogs. And this is the first time I cycle in the rain. It's not fun. I am not having a good time. But you know what, Holmes? Gotta get out here and do it. Because when the day comes, rain or shine, baby, we're gonna be handling our business. So we're doing our thing. Woo! Oh yeah. So let's go, man. Let's handle our business. Let's go. Man, familia, the rain has really picked up, man. Woo! It's nice. It's cold. Woo! Vámonos! Woo! Man, this turned into like a little river. Look at this. Look at this. Woo! Oh, damn it! Woo! Man, you got like a little river coming in. Woo! That's all. Yeah. Vamos, familia. Damn, it's coming down.
And it was pouring, and he's going through puddles going, woo! I don't know if he did that, but anyways, man, I'm smiling because I called him. I heard his voice. I immediately called him, and heard his voice, and he sounded normal, so I knew he was okay, you know what I mean? And but that's a scary thought, man, because when I go cycling, it's in the street for the most part. I'm like 70% on the street and only 30% on the bike trail, and that's something that's why you gotta you gotta have really bright blinking lights on you, especially in the rain, and but yeah, anyways, really, really glad that he's alive and well.
Yes, absolutely.
He's probably going to be feeling it today, for those of you that are watching this Monday. But
yeah, when you experience a fall, even whether it be hit by a car, when you experience a fall or anything, and your helmet breaks.
His helmet broke.
When your helmet breaks, guys, the impact has to be so hard to break a helmet. If your helmet breaks, then the impact was hard. Yeah. I know that for a fact because I've had my helmet break, and that's how hard the impact was, and I know that because I've had that happen before. And it's a scary feeling when your helmet breaks, because the impact is boom, it like your head hits hard, it almost feels like your head is thrown like a rag doll. It really does. Because I remember when I had hit that concrete so hard, like my head
on our honeymoon.
On our honeymoon, I remember that. I hit the concrete so hard, my head was just like a rag doll. Boom, boom, and that was it. My helmet hit so hard, and and I can imagine him.
Yeah.
Well,
he flew onto the hood of the car,
and then got thrown.
Yeah, and then the guy takes off.
That is just crazy.
Yeah, and
it's ridiculous.
Man, that's really messed up, man.
Yeah, it is.
This is
I pray that there's justice and they find this person.
Yeah, this is
ridiculous.
This is a husband, a father, a friend.
Yeah.
A good guy, man. You know what I mean? And it could have ended right there. Bam. Yeah. That's why when you ride around and you'll see like a white bike painted all white, it's because somebody got hit, and got killed. You know what I mean? And that's why, all you can do is be safe as possible. And I remember what the motorcycle mechanic told me, and I use it for cycling. He said, the best way to be safe on a motorcycle is assume that nobody sees you.
Yeah. Always.
And I use it, and even more on a bike, because on a motorcycle you can hear it. On a bike, there's no sound.
Yeah.
And I always assume that nobody sees me. Yeah. And that's still that something could still happen, but I think that helps me.
I'm sorry that you didn't hear that, but yeah, I did tell you that he's okay, and I think your mind probably just went blank at that moment.
Watch the video, guys. Yeah. You can see her whisper to me. I think I finished my prayer.
You can probably even hear me if you listen good on the microphone.
And then I just sat down.
Yeah.
Right there on the stage, there was a chair, and I sat down to pray for Cholo Trucker specifically. And I was just praying, brother, I know you're watching it. And I was just praying for you, man.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how bad. I think I do remember now, actually. I do remember you saying he was okay, but okay could still mean broken bones or something. And I'm like, Lord, in the name of Jesus, whatever is bruised, broken, whatever, let it be mended in the name of Jesus right now. I was just praying,
Yeah. Which we should do immediately, in any given. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but other than that, guys, it's been raining like crazy for the past 2 days, on and off. But man, when it rains, it's been pouring. The service in Lake Tahoe was canceled tonight. Everybody was snowed in. Like, people could not get out of their driveways. My understanding is between 2 to 4 feet, depending where you were at. That's a lot of snow. You couldn't get anywhere, and everyone's electricity was off in Tahoe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So how can you have service? There's no electricity. There's no nothing. You know what I mean? And but they've talked about that with us. Before. They're like, hey, things really shut down here in the winter. And
there's going to be days where they're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Stream.
And they've always told us about that. We've never really gone to Tahoe in the middle of winter. Like, we would go a few months after where there's still snow everywhere, but the streets are cleaned out. But we didn't. I don't think I realized just how truly bad it could be when it snows like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're done. I think it's still going to snow tonight over there.
Yeah.
So keep them in your prayer. The brothers and sisters over there, Alex, Veronica. But anyways,
I'd like to also send my our condolences to Sister Lisa.
Yes.
Our Sister Lisa Carrillo.
I saw you hugging her.
Yeah, I just couldn't let her go. She just, she laid her mom passed away. I'm gonna say about a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, and and her dad passed away not even a month after,
Yeah.
from a broken heart. So not only did she have to just lay her mother to rest, but her father as well. And
Wow.
both of her parents, one after the other. And she ended up doing a double funeral,
I saw the picture yesterday
a double funeral for
of
them.
the two caskets. I'm like, wow.
And that is one of the hardest things to have to do, and I was trying to get to her and I kept getting stopped, and I just, I finally, before I seen her leave, I just grabbed onto her, and I just, I had
Yeah, I
to.
saw, because right after service, I saw her on the chair and I was going to go talk to her, but I saw two other sisters go talk to her. So I'm like, oh, I'll get to her in a minute. And you know how it is in service,
Yeah.
and then at the end, I was sort of standing by the door and I saw her walking out, and then I saw you come right behind her and hug her. And then somebody started talking to me, and before I realized, she was already gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, condolences for sure.
Yeah. I wanna say this in regards to our families and our loved ones, and everything. I know a lot of the times, you know, our families sometimes think that, you know, that yes, we always say, we're a family, and everything, and I think it's important that you have to know that when we're a family, we want you to know that we're there for one another, and we want you to also feel that and know that we're there for one another, and we're there for you. And please, please know that that we love you, and that we are never, ever too busy, because sometimes I hear that, well, I know that you guys are busy, but never too busy. Never, never too busy. Our families are important to us, and we will drop whatever it is that we're doing when it comes to emergencies, when it comes to when there's an emergency, when something happens or anything, we will drop whatever it is that we're doing to be there for our families. Please know that. And if there's ever something that you need, and we'll always be honest. If we can do it, then we'll do it, and if we can't, then we'll tell you, listen, we can't. But and if somebody can, then somebody can, and if there's a possibility of making it happen, then there's a possibility of making it happen. And if we can't, then we'll be honest and tell you that we can't make it happen. That's how simple it is. But just know that we're here. We're a family. We're here to do this together. We're always going to be here to do this together. We're in this thing called life. It takes a village, to raise each other's children, to just do life together. We're in this together, guys. We're not lone rangers. We're here to do this together. So just know that. And
Yeah.
I wanted to share that, because we never want to see our loved ones and our families doing anything alone. Just know that we're family for a reason.
Amen. Coming into this new year, every single time a new year is going to start, I always ask the Lord, what vision, what message, what goal do you have for us as a church? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Last year, the Lord had said, this is a year of growth. And initially I thought, growth like a mega church, like a big church, I don't want that, and the Lord's like, no, growth in other ways. There's growth in our personal walk. There's growth um, in leadership. There's growth in believers, and there's growth goes so many different ways. And I can honestly say, in this year, I have seen growth. I've seen growth in ourselves. I've seen growth in myself. I've seen growth in individuals. I mean, we expanded to Tahoe. That came out of nowhere. I mean, just so many different areas. And that was a good thing. But what does 2023 look like?
Yeah.
And that's where I believe I can safely say both of us are asking the Lord, what is it that you have for us in 2023?
Yeah.
And I think that all of us, and I'm not talking about, what are those things people do every year?
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about.
when they make New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
No.
resolutions. I'm talking about direction.
Yes.
I'm talking about saying, Lord, what direction should I go individually? Should I go in our marriage? Should we go in our marriage? Should we go in our family? Should we go in our church?
Yeah.
In ministry, in all facets?
What is the vision He has for us for this year?
Yeah. The vision, the direction, the goal.
Yeah.
And the Lord made us. He knows that we're goal-oriented people, because the person that has no goal, you have nothing to strive for. There's no direction. There's no indication that there's growth, or that you're going a certain direction. If I have a goal of going 10 miles that way, well, each mile is a milestone into that direction, and I think these are things that all of us as believers should do. And I think that's why we're talking about it today is to simply say, what is your goal through Christ? Not your goal that you want to do, but the goal that the Lord has for you. And seriously ask God, what is it? Is it a decision I got to make, or decisions I got to make? Is it somebody I need to get closer to? Is there people that I need to loosen off of me that have held me back? It could go any way. It's just, sometimes the Lord is gonna add fruit. Sometimes He's saying you need a prune. And I think that's important to do, is because without that, you lose direction. I mean, the people that Moses, when he led the people out of Egypt, they wandered for 40 years.
Yeah.
To get somewhere that would have only taken 40 days.
Yeah, but the thing is that, they wandered, but with a lot of complaining and murmuring, and just, constantly, it was constantly whining, and just constantly questioning and wanting to go back.
Yeah.
And when we're setting these goals, what are we doing to accomplish them?
Yeah.
Are we going to do something to accomplish it? I was telling David, the other day, because I got off of the devotionals. When was it really truly realistic?
I don't
about
remember.
Guys, it was months ago, and I think at the beginning I had set a goal that I was going to do something very specific, but in the middle of that goal, I almost found myself getting comfortable, because I almost feel like the Lord kind of said, what are you doing? Like, did you come off of here to seek me, to get closer to me? Did you you said you were doing something for a purpose, but you're getting comfortable. And I almost felt like that was like I was getting kind of, like the Lord was giving me a spanking, like He was a spiritual spanking, because I wasn't doing it. I was kind of getting, in a way, spiritual lazy, when you kind of get that spiritual laziness, and you're just like, because I was getting comfortable. Guys, you get comfortable sometimes. And And then I started to feel like, all right, here, what am I going to do? Lord, I need to get that hunger. I need to get, and I would sit there and I'd start watching things, and I started to want more and more. And then I'd watch David. I'd watch David listening to certain things, and then I'd open up my ears. He didn't realize, but I'm sitting there opening up my ears and start asking questions. And then I'd start reading certain things. And then I just wanted more. I started to get hungry. And then one day I just sat there with him and I started watching him do stuff. And then, I don't know, something happened, and, and I don't know, I just started desiring, even before that, I just started desiring more and more and wanting just more of him. And my worship, these walls went down, and my worship changed. Everything began to change. Things started to come back into remembrance, and a lot of things started to change. And I started to set goals, and it just like my life here at home just started to change a little bit. And then I started to get this hunger. And now there's this hunger inside of me. And I just, I told him, I just feel like there's this thirst and hunger for even more and more of him. And I think that's where I'm at now. But it's just because of setting these small goals, and I'm looking forward to the new year. I really am. I really am.
Like a lot of things I listen to, guys, is like almost educational stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really watch sermons. Number one is, I mean, there's great preachers out there, but if I listen to too many sermons, I think it'll accidentally
It'll sway you a different way.
or I'll start preaching something they preached,
Yeah.
and realize, wait a second, because I just heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
I want
agree with you.
to keep the sermons
Fresh.
fresh. But I compare it to this, right? Imagine somebody is a baker, right?
Me.
Yeah. And so I don't want to watch other people bake. If I'm a baker, I'm the type of person that says, where's flour made from? Like, I'll go, like, I want to go deeper. I want to go past that stuff. So I don't want to just watch a baker. I want to know where they got their ingredients from.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I am with sermons. I don't listen to sermons. I want to know the root stuff. I want to know the deep stuff. So a lot of times I'll be watching stuff on my phone because I feel like I'm going to bore the heck out of, you or whoever. And like you said, but you're listening. You're
Constantly, guys.
Is that all I do?
That's all he does. And guess who's with him all the time?
Yeah.
Me.
Because she'll be like, I imagine, she's like, what is this guy listening to? Because I've been like
a lot of history.
A
lot of history stuff. A lot.
Or even just old language.
Yeah.
Or Hebrew or Greek or
and
customs.
I'm just taking it all in, and then I start getting curious, and I start asking questions, and we start conversing about it, and then we go back and forth because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Even to the point now where, even this morning he's probably coming in and he's probably like, what the heck is she listening to? And I was listening to a whole bunch of demographics and stuff like this, and
this morning.
Yes, and I'm like even finding some certain things on depopulating and this and that, and because we're right now, guys, we're like really, really studying right now, and we're deep in studying the word right now together, and I've really gotten into studying about the women of the Bible, specifically in the lineage of Jesus right now, me, myself, especially. And man, it's just gotten deep for me right now. And
yeah. So the other day I was in the garage. I forgot what I was looking for. I had Benjamin with me. I'm like, hey, help me look. Oh, because it was a book. It was one of my college textbooks that I couldn't find on my bookshelf. And it's bugging me because I've always, for all these years, have kept all my textbooks together. Every course I've ever taken at COU, I kept together on a bookshelf, and I couldn't find a specific book. And we have totes upon totes in the garage. So, and a tote full of books is heavy, right? So I remember Benjamin was here. I'm like, hey, go to the garage with me, man. Can you help me find a book? Long story short, I didn't find the book, but I found my ESV Bible. I had a leather-bound ESV Bible. It's probably been there for 2 years, maybe longer. Never been marked, nothing. It was brand spanking new. And I was just like, because I'm always looking for something different. I have read the New King James so many times. I read the NIV once. I read the NLT once. Um, the King James original probably 3 times.
I read the King James and the NIV.
Yeah, so when I saw the Bible, because it wasn't, guys, I would never throw just the Bible around. It was a whole bunch of Christian books, and there was other Bibles in there with it. There was that big King James Bible in there, but there was the ESV, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, boom, hey, I want to read that beginning to end, because I had heard that the ESV was more literal, word for word, and more accurate than even the New King James. So I'm like, I'm just gonna find out for myself. So I brought it in, and I think I told you, I'm like, hey, I found my ESV Bible, and then maybe a week later, I think you saw me at the table, and I was at Genesis 1:1.
Yeah,
and I was just reading.
He was on Genesis 1:1.
And I was probably on chapter 3, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna read the whole Bible," And
I'm like, sweet. So I sit down.
so she grabbed her Bible, but she didn't have an ESV, and we were there for like 3 hours, and then we were hungry, and I'm like, "Well, let's go grab some coffee and something to eat." And then I said, "Do you want to go get you an ESV?" Because they were like $16 right here at Barnes and Noble, and you're like, "Yeah." I said, that way you're following along what I'm reading, and we'll do this together. And
so I got all excited, guys, and so I went online and I
went back to Genesis 1:1 with you.
Yeah, we went back to it, and then I went online, and then I ended up getting a timeline. I ended up, printing out this timeline for us. It was super duper small, and we ended up getting some little, what was it? Those little magnifying glasses.
Yeah. Well, I showed them the one.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and just start, just digging deep. And
So it's funny because every time it said a name, so-and-so had a son, we'd write it down. And she's like, why are we writing it down? There's got to be somebody that has a timeline. So every name we tied in, every city or region, we look on the maps. And I told her, I said, this is how I used to study in prison. I said, you're going to now know how I studied in prison.
So here we go, breaking out the color pencils, and I'm watching him go back and forth, and I'm like, man. So I go and I cut up little papers, get the tape, and I start coating my pencils and everything, and then I go to the front, and he's like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I code his too, and I start taping them up and everything, and I'm like, so we're helping each other out here, and I'm like, all right.
What she's talking about, guys, is in prison, I would get color pencils because pens bleed through on Bible pages because, they're so thin. So I learned that color pencils, I chose different colors. I'm like, okay, this color is about Jesus. This color is about the Holy Spirit. This color is about Satan. This color's... And so I use the same colors for the same subject. So that way later on when your whole Bible is full, kind of what is what, and I was sharing with her, but on the front page, I would write a chart. I'd be like, okay, purple, I wrote a purple square, and I wrote, this is about Messiah or Jesus. So I would forget what the colors were for.
Yeah.
So I kept jumping back to the front of the page, and then Sharon's like, why don't you cut papers out and mark the pencil themselves? I'm like, why didn't I think of that 14 years ago? So
come on, I did administrative all my life, so I was like, you got to make your life easier.
So we went through Genesis already.
Yeah, it took us. It was crazy because we'd see. I remember one morning, Ben walked out at 9:00 in the morning, and then he came back really, really late, almost at 11:30, and he comes back and he's like, you guys are still here? And it was really, really late. And then he comes back down at almost 1:00 in the morning, and he's like, You guys are still awake? Yeah, guys, we've had several of those days where, we're just starting really early, and then we just continue all day.
Most funny is the next day he showed up with the ESV.
Yeah, he wanted an ESV, and then I think one of the sisters one day, she's like, "Oh man, that's really cool." And I said, "Well, if you ever open, you're welcome to join us." And she joined us one day, and she didn't leave until almost midnight.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, this is something that has been very special to David and I. And I just, I told her, if you just happen to be by, just be ready to jump on in, because, we ain't stopping. We're just going to go. And if you want to jump on in, just jump on in. We're just going to keep going. You just got to be willing to jump in wherever we're at, and let's go. Let's just do it.
But it was nice because she had never studied that way, and she was able to see the system that we were studying in. And that's the whole point, is because she goes, I want to study like this too.
Yeah.
And we realized the need for a lot of the church family. Maybe they don't know how to study. They just open a chapter and read it, but you don't even know the context, who wrote it, what wrote it, or nothing. And so you kind of read and you get something from it.
But to bounce off of one another.
But it could be so much deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we just wanted to talk with you guys.
It's awesome. I think it's the digging deeper, and it's going further into the Word. It's beautiful, because when I was singing the song the other day, I think it was last Wednesday, this is the air I breathe, your very word, living.
Yeah, that was for Bible study.
Yeah, it's like when I would sing that, it of course the song has always had meaning, but it just seems like it was so much more, like it meant so much more, because it's like when the word is just so living.
Yeah.
When the word is living in you, it carries so much more weight in your heart. And that's what happens, and it should. And I think sometimes when we become so busy in life, when we become so busy with things, we sometimes, grab the word and we skim through things. We just read a verse, and we don't really allow it to, we don't sit there and we just don't read it and allow it to really penetrate in our heart, and sit there and meditate on it, and just be like, Lord, let it speak to our hearts, and just really ponder it, and think about what it is that Jesus went through, or think about, Lord, this is the splendor of you, of what it is that you created, and everything of what Jesus was called to do, and it's like, you don't stop and think, because we're always such in a rush. We think that by reading something so quickly for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then go into a prayer, and then, okay, let's get started with our day. It's not enough. It's not sufficient enough. Not for the way things are in this world today. I think just being in our word for the way that we've been, it just makes me realize the urgency of things,
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We got to take the time. We got to take the time, guys, to study His Word, to read, to meditate on the things of God, and because ultimately we can't say, "Oh, I don't have time for that," because you wouldn't have woke up if it wasn't for God.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had the energy, the strength, or even the breath to do all the other things that make you busy if it wasn't for the Lord. Right now I just took a breath, and it's only because God gave it to me. So, but yeah, guys, with that, God bless you. Have a great day. Have a great week. And that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. It's really good to see everybody. I've missed you all very, very much.
Amen.
And I hope to see you guys again.
All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
God bless you.